Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Caravan of Garbage, where this week we think to ourselves and we look at each other and we go, is this Ghostbusters 2 or is it Ghostbusters Poo? That's what we say.
He did it. We had a discussion before the episode.
You insisted that I put that in.
You said, I've got a killer joke here that'll make you a ghost.
But I think the reason you wanted me to put it in is so I didn't go, it's the spookiest time of year, everybody. I'm not just talking about tax time.
Damn it.
Please leave a like because this week we are talking about the...
I thought you'd just drink in the adulation, the pride of creating a new joke.
No. I played the hits here.
Yeah, I guess
we played the hits of Caravan of Garbage,
that's
basically.
True.
Now, I was going to say this is long delayed, and it was at the time, but since... the amount of time has passed since a Ghostbusters movie between this and what they made next. It's not that long. It was a delay of 5 years.
This is what Slimer looks like now. Feel old yet?
Still looks like shit. Okay. Got some information about the lead up to this, okay? So Bill Murray was on an extended sabbatical from acting.
Okay.
And this...
Sabbatical.
And was angered by the new Columbia head, David Putnam, calling him an actor who makes millions off movies but gives nothing back to his art. Whoa. Sorry, dude in charge of the studio.
Yeah.
Fucking hell. Bill Murray also said in a recent...
Who's literally only interested in money.
I know, right?
Who just rubber stamps terrible stuff, including Ghostbusters 2.
Bill Murray said in a more recent interview that he and the other cast members signed on to this film based on a script they didn't use, which I'll talk about more at the end of this. So Ghostbusters 2 ended up not being the story they wrote. They got us in the sequel under false pretenses. Harold had this great idea, but by the time we were shooting, I showed up on set, went, what the hell is this? What's this thing? But we're already shooting it. So we all had to figure out how to make it work. So Mason, call it fate, call it luck, call it karma, you will. This movie, I remember it being great. It was the first Ghostbusters movie I saw. It's not very funny though, is it?
I mean, no, I remember seeing it as a kid. I think I mentioned last week I saw it in the cinema. This was the first Ghostbusters movie I saw in a cinema. As an adult, watching it again, it has way less appeal than the first one to me because it feels less like a real New York. It feels to me way more like it's happening on sets.
It is sanitized,
most of the time.
yeah.
It is sanitized, and I think probably because they're after that Family Dollar.
There's no smoking.
Yeah, what? Wait.
There's not.
Wow.
Yeah.
Not even a victory cigar?
I think there might be somebody smoking a cigar at some point, but
okay, right.
No.
I like the idea that they the plot sort of hinges around positivity.
Yep.
I don't hate that, but it feels like they just went, okay, how do we repeat the beats of the first one, but kind of more family friendly? So they replace Walter Peck with that sniveling mayor's assistant.
Yeah.
In the first one, they got sent to jail. In this one, they get sent to a psychiatric hospital. Instead of the Marshmallow Man walking the streets of New York, we've got the Statue of Liberty walking the streets of New York. Janosch is just Louis Tully again.
Yeah.
Boy, Peter McNichol is putting on a heck of an accent. Let me tell you.
He's really going for it.
He really is.
He's doing like Frank, Father of the Bride type accents.
It is.
I say accents because it feels like more than one.
I was going to say, it feels like every Eastern European accent smashed together. But ultimately, like no accent anyone has ever come out of their mouth before.
I mean, he's great. I'm a big fan.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Look, I said it's not as funny, but here's 3 jokes that I enjoy.
Go on.
First of all, Lewis defending them in court for some reason, even though he's an accountant, but I guess he's not anymore.
And they're like, Lewis, you've ruined, we're going to jail. And he's like, you wanted me here. Come on.
He says, one time I turned into a dog and they helped me. Like, that was part of his defense. I enjoy the Ray Egon joke.
Good joke.
That's a good joke.
So far, everything in just one scene in this movie.
That is true. And the moment where they turn up to, I think, where the painting is, and Bill Murray says, suck in the guts, boys, we're the Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
Just, it speaks to the idea that, these are just dudes in their 40s, you know?
Yeah. And how far they've fallen. Because as we enter in this movie, it's been 5 years since the previous one. And
so down on their luck.
They're down on their luck. So they got sued by the city.
Yep.
Everybody thinks they're frauds.
For some reason.
So Egon's gone back to sciencing. Venkman is now the host of some sort of cable TV show about psychics.
He's talking to the dad from Transformers. That's one of the people in the show, yeah.
You're right.
Anyway, sorry, go on.
And worst of all, Ray and Winston have been reduced to a pair of children's party entertainers. I've put down here because that's probably what's going to happen to us in 5 years. In 5 years, we're going to be booked for children's birthday parties and we're going to be like, hey kids, you want to see us edit a podcast? And they'll be like, boo! Where's He-Man? Where's woke He-Man? They're going to yell. We don't understand dramatic structure. So the fact that He-Man isn't in every episode doing the same thing every time, we think that's bad storytelling. There's enough black characters in He-Man. There's already Clamp Champ. Kids don't know nothing is what I'm saying.
Well, what I'm saying is new He-Man is infinitely better than old He-Man. And if you watched old He-Man, you would know that. Anyway,
this is us at children's birthday parties in 5 years.
That's right. It's weird that they're like, we want He-Man. He's not real. I mean, there's ghosts, so maybe he is real? I don't know.
Ray and Winston should have tracked down a few ghosts and just brought them in as like party favors.
You're absolutely right.
You crack open a birthday pinata.
Yep.
It's got a real Slimer in it.
Oh my God, incredible.
Kills your family. Kills and eats your family.
I love how that kid's like, you're full of crap. And it's like, how? There's a giant marshmallow man. Like, even if you thought they like instigated the whole thing, that definitely happened.
Even if you think they released gases into the city that caused people to hallucinate, how did everybody hallucinate the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man?
Nobody filmed it?
Great question.
Yeah. And the other thing is, why are they wearing nuclear reactors into a children's party?
I mean, maybe they took the plutonium out and left it on the street.
Yeah, they might.
For an hour or so.
They might have, yeah. Anyway, the story, as you mentioned, there's a hate-filled river of slime. And bloody, imagine if it was the bloody 2016 election, everybody. Or the 2020 election, or any upcoming election for the rest of time.
Or any election that's ever happened or will happen.
Yeah. I will say this about the villain, though. I think he's much scarier than Zool. He's just a terrifying presence. Because maybe real-life terrible man, potentially.
Maybe, yeah. Sure.
But just like, that's a weird Rasputin monster man.
Yeah, and I
like
think...
Vlad the Impaler kind
again,
of.
speaking of they were asked to, film a script they were not happy with. I wonder if this was maybe studio interference because this movie introduces a sort of a singular villain way earlier than the original one does, right? In the first one, it's just them basically mucking around for 70 minutes, and then Zool shows up.
Yeah.
And some dogs. And in this one, they're like, villain is this
painting.
This painting, yes. Exactly, yes.
I think, though, the ghost busting is as good as ever. I think the courtroom scene it's legit. It's too legit to make me quit on it, as the saying goes. What do you think?
Have you learned some rapping from this movie, James? Is that...
maybe a little bit in my downtime.
Look, just as a side note, there is an astounding amount of like early 90s sort of family-friendly hip-hop in this.
Well, late 80s, early 90s,
and it's really astoundingly on the nose.
Yeah.
It's just, there's a lot of just rap groups recapping the events of the movie while it's still happening.
Totally true.
Yeah.
If this wasn't the first, it was certainly one of the earlier examples, because if you look at like the Ninja Turtles movies, probably the 3 Ninja Kid movies, probably the movie Suburban Commando.
Definitely.
Who's to say?
This movie takes 30 minutes to get going.
Yeah, okay, fair.
And I feel like that kind of worked in the first one.
Yep.
But then it's the Sclery Brothers, and that's fun.
That is fun. I think Ghost Train is fun.
Yep.
Set like severed heads on spikes, because they're like, this is more for kids. And I'm like, I think this is scarier in some ways, some of these moments. And like, always a fan of ghosts running amok in New York City. You know, we get like the Titanic, we get the mink coat scene, and, just bits and pieces. I think all that is good, but again, it's kind of a recap of what we've already seen.
Oh, speaking of recaps, here's the joke that I enjoyed.
Okay.
It's the Ghostbusters in the psychiatric facility.
Yep.
Explaining basically the plot of the movie to this point
Yes.
to the doctor. I thought that was a fun bit.
Who's Bill Murray's brother,
That's
I
Brian
think?
Del Murray, yeah. I thought that was a fun bit. Just maybe every movie should have that.
Yeah, but just whatever it is, just shuffle them into a psychiatrist's
Just
office.
bring the Eternals in, and they have to explain the plot of Ghostbusters 2 to a psychiatrist.
It's always Ghostbusters 2.
It's always Ghostbusters 2, yeah.
Here's a question for you, because I know you're the biggest Ghostbusters fan there is, and you'd kill anybody who says otherwise.
That's right.
The new suits. Now, it's not the suits that they're in for the most part, but they're like they're a dark grey, you know what I mean? They look slick and new and cool. They are technically better, like design-wise. They hide the sweat patches.
Sure.
There's a lot going on there, which I think is better, but I also think they're worse.
Oh, yeah.
Because they're newer and slicker, which I guess is the idea, maybe?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
Was there a question in there for me?
What do you think?
I think the dirty beige ones are better.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
The gross ones.
The gross ones, because it makes them look more gross.
Yeah. It is a shame that they put in the character of Jack as opposed to Walter Peck, who, to be fair, I think he does a decent job doing the role, which was clearly intended for Walter Peck.
Sure, yeah.
But, whatever. Apparently, he did return in the early drafts of the movie, but for whatever reason, maybe because everybody in the world turned on him after appearing in first Ghostbusters and Die Hard. Here's something that I think is terrifying, though. Seeing that baby on the ledge, horrifying. Just like the idea of like a baby, like I don't know whether it's because I've had kids and the first time I saw this, I was a kid and I didn't have kids.
Oh, yeah,
And just seeing like a toddler just...
Wow. Well, as someone who doesn't have kids and has always been this age, I felt fine about it. It's fine. Didn't bother me at all.
I mean, I think it was a green screen anyway.
Yeah,
so
no,
like,
yeah.
my brain should have...
That's what I said in the cinema. I stood up and I said, I think this is a green screen, actually.
Everybody calm down.
Yeah.
This is a movie, and within this movie there is a green screen.
That's simply the actor, Peter McNichol. And I see big things in his future, Ally McBeal.
Ally McBeal. Here's a question about Peter McNichol in that.
Speaking of babies.
Yes.
Dancing baby.
Oh, awful. Just an awful effect. We're both doing the little dance now. You can't see us. But it's just out of, I don't know, disgust.
Yeah.
Anyway, Peter McNichol shows up to steal a baby. Is he a ghost? What is that happen? Because I know he's under the influence of a painting. But I think at that point where I'm like, why is he a ghost? Isn't he a man who's alive? Is this a different guy?
Maybe it's an astral projection.
Yeah, but like, if I'm thinking about that, that means that there's something wrong here. Because in the first one, I'm just like, some of them are zombies and some of them are green slimer men. But this, I'm like, I don't know. I don't know about this. And I think that speaks to the...
Maybe it's because you live in fear of Mary Poppins.
Maybe I do. Look, I will though. I will say I totally get behind the idea of the walking Statue of Liberty controlled by a Nintendo arcade stick or whatever they manufacture. How does any of that work? They just hook up some cables and they just...
How'd they get it back on the podium at the end of the movie?
They probably didn't. They probably left it.
It's there. No, maybe they just built another
Oh,
one.
is it?
Maybe they just left it in the river and the city built another one.
I'd ditch it in the river. But that's good, right? That scene...
You ditch it in the river like an old shopping trolley.
Yeah, but that's good, right?
I think it is good.
New York rallying behind them and the music.
I love that, and I also love... There's a moment where, before they get the great idea to use the Statue of Liberty, they simply attempt to use their proton packs to blast their way through, and the crowd just boos them.
Yeah.
I love that.
That's New York, baby.
That's New York, baby.
But then they rally behind that other guy. You know what I mean? And that's also New York.
Yeah.
There's also, I think, I don't know if this is a joke, but I put it in. After they get in there, they slime Peter McNichol. And Winston says, one down. And I think it's Ray or one of the other ones says, on the ground. And I'm like, I don't know why you put that in.
I understand.
Like, what is that?
I think they had all these little things that they would say that I think were meant to show that they had a lot of camaraderie and they've been doing this for years and they're like, couple of ghosts, we've made them toast or whatever.
Yeah.
Here's your toast.
But
I hated it. I hated every single, and I didn't believe that Egon would be on board with any of those.
It seemed like the actors, and maybe this was true in real life, didn't gel as well.
Yeah.
Because there was just like the back and forth between them is just, it's not really there.
Do you think it had to do with Ernie Hudson shaving off his mustache?
Oh, yeah.
Do you think maybe that's what tore them apart? Do you think maybe pre-production he's like, I'm going to shave my mustache off, and they're like, Ernie,
What?
no! You're going to need that later for the TV series Oz. Probably.
I've never seen Oz. Is it a good show?
Yeah, it's good.
Let's get on it next week.
No, good to watch The Wire first.
Okay, I'll watch The Wire first, and then I'll watch the sequel, Oz.
Okay.
Here's a question. A couple of things.
Okay.
No, here's something. Let's just say,
Alright.
here's something.
Okay, great. It's our famous segment. Here's something. Question mark.
I don't think it is, but...
It doesn't always have to be something. That's the joy of the segment.
I've got two things that might be something.
Okay.
One, they sing, New York sings Old Lang Syne.
Yes.
And I was like, oh, it's New Year's? Did someone say that at some point? Okay, great.
Yes.
It was New Year's.
Because the man...
he has to do it.
Transformers' dad
Yeah.
says that the world's going to end on New Year's Eve.
Oh.
And that's what we think is going to happen, maybe, but obviously not because the Ghostbusters are going to
So he
save
was
the
right,
Statue of
maybe.
Liberty. Maybe he was right, maybe.
Maybe it was right. And the second thing is, and I meant to mention this last week, like who built...
Is this a question about Ghostbusters 1?
Yes, Mason. But it bleeds over into the franchise, and maybe it bleeds into the new one. The followers of Zool built that building, and there's thousands of followers of Zool who, made this happen.
Okay.
Where? Let's see that maybe. What's that
What do you
about?
mean? What do you mean?
Let's, these people that expected this David Bowie creature to come back.
They're all dead.
Okay, cool.
they're all
But don't you
dead.
think that'd be interesting, like a cult of Zool?
Yes.
Yeah, anyway.
Maybe we'll see it in some other medium. Wink.
Yeah, so normally, that section that we do every week, here's something. And we have to label it after whether it's something or nothing. And
Yes.
that was actually nothing, all of that, those things I said.
That's correct, yes. That is very correct. But it can't always be something.
That's
That's, the joy of the segment.
Spin the wheel.
That's right.
Spin the wheel.
Some weeks it is something, probably, maybe. One day it will be.
Here's something that might be something.
Go on.
Unless you've got some more notes before we do.
Wait, is this still the segment? Is this something?
No,
Or is
now
this
we're out of this segment.
Okay, right. So this is the new segment. Maybe this is something.
No, this is the segment that we always do.
Okay.
It's time for Spooky Time Ghost Trivia.
Okay, great.
Here we go. William von Hornberg, the guy who played the painting, all his lines were dubbed by Max von Sydow.
That's true, yeah.
That's fun.
I'm pretty confident that actor did not know he was being dubbed over. A la
Darth Vader, David Prowse.
Yeah.
There we go. The kid who tells Ray that, according to his dad, the Ghostbusters are full of crap is played by Jason Reitman, son of director Ivan Reitman, and also director of the new Ghostbusters movie. That's fun trivia.
That is fun trivia.
Here's
some fun trivia.
Yep.
I don't know if it is fun. Bobby Brown, who appears in this brief cameo as a doorman, he has a son named Cassius. And Annie Potts, who plays Janine, has a grandson called Cassius. Are they the same child? No. It's a coincidence. Just something I learned.
Why do you have that information?
Don't know.
Were you independently researching these two?
It's just I don't know why I have it, but it just pushed something important out of my brain. I don't know what that is though, because it's gone.
So you were looking at two family trees.
Yep.
That were not connected.
That's correct.
And then went,
To Cassius.
that's worth bringing up.
To Cassii. Yeah.
There was actually a minor story that was removed with Lewis trying to catch Slimer, mostly around the Ghostbusters headquarters, and it culminates in Slimer bringing him the bus, and then he goes to whatever,
right.
which makes sense because Slimer just rolls in and is like, okay, we're friends, I guess. I think you see Slimer earlier in the ghost house.
You do, that's
whatever.
true, yeah.
Anyway, there you go.
How do you feel about the Slimer remodel? Because he's a new Slimer.
Is he?
I mean, he's the same Slimer.
Yeah.
But he's been given a real glow up. I don't mind it.
Yeah, it's fine. I honestly didn't.
Okay.
I don't, and I didn't.
Wow. Guess there's only one Slimer aficionado on this video.
Is it you?
Yeah, it's me.
Terrific. Do you want to know about the first and early draft of the script?
The one that was presumably better than this, yes.
Yeah, let's judge that right now. Aykroyd wanted to contrast to the first film's climax atop a skyscraper by making a subterranean threat.
Oh,
which they sort of
Mole
work
Man.
in. Yeah, Mole Man. This draft followed Dana Barrett, who was kidnapped and taken to Scotland, where she discovered...
Okay, so we've gone too far.
No.
Loch Ness Monster.
We haven't...
Ghost of the Loch Ness Monster.
Ghost Ness Monster.
The ghost-necked monster, yes.
Where she discovers a fairy ring and an underground civilization. This sounds like Hellboy.
The Golden Army, yeah.
The Ghostbusters would have to travel through an underground tube over 2,000 miles long.
This sounds like Mortal Kombat Annihilation.
That would have taken 3 days to traverse.
Did Dan Aykroyd go forward through time and steal a bunch of ideas from future movies?
He may very well have.
Wow.
Well, Aykroyd eventually decided that retaining the New York setting would allow for continuity and would better fit the story he wanted to tell while still allowing them to explore underground, and that his first draft was really too far out, too inaccessible.
Well, he has said that he calls himself a kitchen sink writer.
Yeah.
And the idea is he just goes, here's 50 crazy ideas.
Yeah.
And then he gets Ramis or Murray or somebody to come in and go, this is too much.
Yeah.
Dan.
And we will not appear in the movie Evolution, which is sort of a sequel to Ghostbusters spiritually.
Kind of is, yeah.
Yeah. Maybe we'll come back to it at some point. Anyways, I just wish this was more different and funnier.
Same.
It's fine.
Yeah, look, I mean...
It's much worse than I remember it being.
Yep, same.
Yeah. This one stung a little.
Yeah. Sigourney Weaver's still great in this. Like her performances.
Yeah,
She's
completely
good.
agree.
Bill Murray's doing a lot of mugging in this. He's doing more mugging. He felt like he was... In the last one, it just felt like he was just being a jerk.
Yeah.
Like his character was just that he's a jerk, and sometimes he goes slightly too far. But in this one, it's like you yell all the time. You do, and maybe it's because he's a TV star now. He's always on.
Yeah.
You know how we talk like this in real life now because we do too many YouTube videos?
We do too many. When I listen to myself in recordings, it's the same voice as my inner monologue now, and I think my brain's broken.
Sometimes I run into people and I'm having a conversation with them and they're like, did you just do a podcast? And I'm like, yeah, how did you know? And they're like, you're still doing the podcast thing. I can't help it, I tell them.
It's hard to switch off.
This
is me all the time now. Anyway, box office busters, that famous segment.
Great, I love
I need
it.
to stop saying famous segment because none of this is famous. None of this
Yet.
is known. That's true.
Make it happen.
Something's got to click eventually, right?
That's true.
It's the Dan Aykroyd approach to YouTube videos.
That's right.
This had a $30 to $40 million budget and it made 215, which is substantial. However, the previous did make 295. They also credit this movie's lower box office to Batman releasing like a week later. So that would step on this massively. So it would have done better if a big Batman movie didn't come out. You know what I mean?
That's very true.
But whose fault's that?
Batman.
Batman's fault. Get him, everyone. Get him.
Wow.
Yeah.
We'll be right back here.
Yeah.
Just watching you all get pulped by Batman.
Anyways, this has been Caravan of Garbage. And I tell you this much. We got to come back and talk Ghostbusters next week. They never made a third movie, until recently. And there's nothing in between with all the cast returning that we could look at, is there, Mason?
Very true.
There's nothing there that we could possibly sneak a peek at. So we're going to have to look at Ghostbusters 2016.
That's right.
I'm interested to know what I think of that movie. I don't really remember.
Yeah. It's gonna be something, isn't it?
It might not be. I wonder if it's better than this. We'll find out.
That's what it said on the poster when it came out. It said better than this, and then it was just another the Ghostbusters 2 poster.
Yeah.
On the new poster.
Or maybe it's not better than your memories of Ghostbusters 2, but in reality it's actually a little bit better, or at least on par.
Yeah.
Anyways, if you do have suggestions for Caravan of Garbage, please leave them below. And I'm at Mr. Sunday Movies on Twitter.
I'm at Wikipedia Brown on Twitter.
Thank you again to Ben and Lawrence for the edit, and let's Ghostbust out of here.
Very nice.
Ghostbusto? Ghostbust go.
No, you hit oil already. Don't.
Good.
Yeah. Should I say slime? You hit slime.
I hit a river of hate filled slime.
That's right.
Love it.
Grab that gem, you guys. We'll see you next week.
Goodbye.